Hey friends, how's it going? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Today I've got designer fragrances that are gonna be perfect at turning people's heads in 2024. These are compliment pullers, attention grabbers, massive peelers, whatever you wanna call them. Massive peelers. Most of these are newer releases because a lot of them are falling in line with what's trending right now. So all of them linked in the description below in case you wanna check them out. Let's jump into them. Let's kick it off with this one. And I know some people are gonna hate on this, right? But it is what it is. It's Myself from Yves Saint Laurent. It has been tagged with the generic label, which means anybody that says they like this, you're gonna get somebody who comes in and wants to drop a quick hate on you. You know, they're gonna come up right behind you in the internet world anyways and just be like, idiot, you ain't got no taste. You ain't got no taste. That's generic, that's lame. But don't let that sway you. If you enjoy this, you should wear it. And apparently a lot of people are enjoying this because it has rapidly become one of the best-selling fragrances in the US. Now, to be fair, if you're wanting something that is very unique, that other people are not wearing, that they haven't heard of or haven't smelled potentially, this is probably not gonna work for you. It's not gonna be a great choice because again, it has taken off very quickly in terms of popularity. I did a video talking about the top 30 best-selling fragrances in the US for last year. And at the time that I shot the video, there were only numbers for first quarter through third quarter sales, right? So end of September, that's where the numbers cut off. And yet this was still one of the best-selling fragrances in the country, even though at the cutoff time for that information, this had only been out for like a couple months. So in a couple months, it sold more than what most fragrances in the US were selling across the entirety of that year to that point. And I do believe, and I could be wrong, but I believe that this year, 2024, this will end up being a top 10 seller in the United States and could get close to like Versace Eros levels of numbers. So we'll see. But this one, very fresh, very clean, easy to wear. Little bit soapy, note breakdown, super simple. I believe it's 3 notes in there. So Myself, kicking this off. This one is one that has just absolutely crushed it. People love it. When I've worn this, it's been a compliment magnet. It's super versatile. You can wear it anytime, anywhere, any place, including to the office, casually, on a date, whatever, because it doesn't have like too much sweetness that makes it smell potentially, immature or too loud. It's balanced out really nicely. And with that one, I'm actually thinking about having Richard Arpon. He is the owner, perfumer of Precious Liquid and creator of Oud Wood. We're doing videos together now where he breaks fragrances down. I'm thinking about sending him a bottle of that stuff and having him break it down for us and give his opinion. All right, let's keep it moving. Before I go any further, here are a bunch of codes that you can use at a bunch of different websites. So if you shop at any of these, use these codes. After that, we got Gentleman Eau de Toilette Intense. Love this line of fragrances. It is killer. And if you're a fan of Iris in general in men's fragrances, you probably already know about this. If you don't, you need to. I could put a bunch in here from the line. Is kind of what I'm saying. Reserve Privé, Boisé, even Gentleman Eau de Toilette or Cologne. I like those too for different reasons and different seasons. But Eau de Toilette Intense, I think, is probably gonna be your best bet if you still wanna have a good amount of that iris in there, but you wanna be able to use it just about any time. This one has, I believe, what they call a blue iris, the way that they present it in the fragrance, and it smells a little bit similar to Dior Homme Eau, which is unfortunately discontinued. So it has a nice freshness to it. It's not too creamy or powdery or anything like that, not too makeup-y, because some people with iris, they kind of shy away from that. It has a touch, but it's not anything that's going to be potentially off-putting. Just the right amount of sweetness, good performance for me, good compliment puller as well, and good versatility. A lot of good there. So Gentleman Eau de Toilette Intense, oops, really nice. And not the last iris fragrance here either. After that, Aqua Deo Profundo. So this one is a little tricky because Profundo is still selling pretty well in the US. People are still buying it. I think that it's great. You can use it just about anywhere. A nice modern take on the original Aqua Deo, more masculine, less floral, a little more minerality, a little greener, but still absolutely killer. The reason this is potentially a little tricky is because just a little while back, a couple weeks ago, I think, there was a new Aqua Deo Profundo announced, Aqua Deo Profundo 2024. The bottle is changing, it's the same concentration, Eau de Parfum, and my assumption is that this is going to change. So my assumption is that this is gonna change a la Dior Homme 2020 or Aqua Deo Parfum, because Aqua Deo Parfum smells similar to Profumo, right? But not the exact same. And they're changing the bottle, which the new one looks like this, but they haven't really said anything else about the fragrance yet. So my assumption here is that this, as we know it right now in this style bottle, is gonna change. How much? Don't know. Haven't smelled the new Aqua Deo Profundo. Could be ultra similar to this, could be really, really close. Could be very close, but with some minor differences, like Parfum and Profumo with Aqua Deo. Or I guess technically, it could be completely different, like Dior Homme Original and Dior Homme 2020. Like I said, it's up in the air. But as it stands now, this iteration of Profundo is amazing. Huge compliment puller, as you would expect from an Aqua Deo, and I think it's just fantastic. My favorite from the line. Terre d'Hermes Eau Givre up next. This one, a really good open. That citrus off the top grabs your attention right away. Kind of natural smelling, you know, it's got a little rindiness to it, but then it's also nice and sweet as well, so it doesn't become overwhelming. Some people, if it's too rindy, too bitter, too tart, too sour, their citrus and fragrances don't like it. If it's too natural smelling, don't like it. This one gives you enough of that natural feel to where it doesn't immediately hit you and your brain kind of goes off and goes, "Ooh, that's synthetic. That doesn't smell right, that's not in nature." You know, it doesn't trigger that in your brain, but then it takes enough of the edge off to where it really doesn't overwhelm in terms of the citrus. Because again, if it comes across too natural, sometimes it will turn a lot of people off in the US. So this strikes that balance, is what I'm trying to say, perfectly. It keeps people intrigued, but it doesn't go too far one way or the other. And then it's also very clean, fresh, has a very modern woody dry down. Just a great, 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 great scent. This stuff is top notch. And it did win Fragrance of the Year from the Fragrance Foundation for whatever that's worth, which is kind of like the Oscars, Emmys, Grammys, Tonys, the fragrancies. I don't know. I'm throwing this one out there for the homies. And by the homies, I mean you guys. That sounds cringy. Aeros Flame from Versace. So why throw this one out for you guys? Because every single time I ask you guys what fragrance is best for this, for that, for this, for that, for this, for that, you bring up Aeros Flame. I ask you guys, what is an underrated fragrance that needs more hype? Aeros Flame. Even though you guys bring it up every time. You're hyping it, okay? You're hyping it. I'm just messing with you guys, except I'm not. But I am, but I'm not. Aeros Flame is good though. It's one that had to grow on me. First time I smelled it, I was kind of let down. I don't know what I was expecting at the time. Maybe something with a bigger departure from the original Aeros. But when you smell it, you can tell the difference between Aeros EDT, Eau de Parfum, and Parfum, and then this one. I really like the balance here of aromatics, of freshness, and of sweetness. Doesn't go too far in any direction there, but it strikes, like I said, just the right balance. Kind of like Terre d'Hermes here, striking the balance that it needs. Another one with great versatility, big compliment factor, and you can, again, wear this pretty much any time. Can you wear this in summer? I think so. Winter? I think so. Spring, fall, for sure. All right, it's time for one that's pretty obvious, but I figured let's put it in there. Dior Sauvage, Eau de Parfum. Now, Sauvage is a fragrance that needs no introduction. It is the best-selling fragrance out there. It just, you know, sells and sells and sells. Everybody seems to have a bottle of this stuff, and you've probably smelled it 25,000 times. But the reason it sells so well is because it works. People love it, it gets attention. Big performer, projects like, fill up a room if you wear too much of this stuff. So you do have to be a little careful how much you spray on. The Eau de Parfum is not as abrasive as the Eau de Toilette. The Eau de Toilette can really pop you in the nose when you spray that on. It's more metallic. This one, sweeter, smoother. The vanilla popped up here. You know, it really kind of jumps out and provides a nice sweetness to it. Bergamot in the opening here, really appealing, kind of grabs your attention, leads you into that dry down. There's Sichuan pepper, lavender in there as well. Nice masculine, semi-clean tone to it as it dries down, and you get that warmth from the vanilla and the ambroxan in here. Basically an all season, all wear, all year, all whatever fragrance. So Sauvage Eau de Parfum still works and still part of the best-selling line in the world. Let's go back and iris it up a little bit here with Carolina Herrera's CH Passion for Men. This stuff is lovely. Unfortunately, if you're wanting it for a discount, kind of hard to find at discounters. So you may have to pony up and pay full retail for this one. But if you are a fan of iris fragrances, it is worth every penny. This stuff can stand up alongside the Gentleman Eau de Parfums of the world, the Dior Hommes of the world, the Valentino Wo Intenses of the world. It's that good. And interestingly enough, even though it can kind of stand up with those fragrances, and Prada L'Homme Intense as well, it doesn't really smell like any of those. It does its own thing. So that makes it even better and makes it even more of a must own if you like those type of designer iris fragrances. It's got a nice creaminess to it, sweet but fresh as well. You have neroli in there off the top. You have, of course, iris, you've got myrrh, you've got vanilla in there, sandalwood, and then you have some olibanum in there as well off the top. So it's not really smoky, but it's got just like the faintest little incensey touch to it. So it's very interesting to smell because it's got all these different things happening. Like I said, freshness, sweetness, that kind of creamy iris, a touch of incense, just great stuff. Quality here is awesome as well. And the bottle looks pretty cool. Okay, Lancome Elixir up next. This stuff is great. This was my favorite fragrance released last year in 2023 as of when I'm filming the video, and it is just awesome. Like if you wanted to spray this on stupid heavy, I would not blame you. Not a bit. It has similarities to Lancome Eau de Parfum, but in my opinion, this is just a one little step up from that. And that's not taking anything away from Le Parfum, because that is also a killer scent. It's just, this one somehow, some way is slightly better for me, and I didn't even think they could do it, but they did it. So you have in here, once again, vanilla, yeah, tonka, honey, tobacco, lavender as well. It is elegant, mature without smelling old or dated, sexy, just a really compelling fragrance for fall and winter time. Absolutely love it. So this, yeah, it gets cold outside, wear that. We got Valentino Wo Intense, another favorite of mine from last year. And this one just in the air is a killer, like a massive, massive compliment puller. And I think that is reflected in its sales, because this is another fragrance that's been doing pretty well as far as sales numbers goes in the US. And I think it's because people smell it, they wear it, they get attention, and then it's just like, well, it's on at that point, you know? Buy more, word of mouth. Simple note breakdown, vanilla, lavender, vetiver. I know, vanilla again, but vanilla works. Hate to break that to you. If you don't like vanilla in fragrances, it's kind of hard to avoid it in the designer realm right now. There's a bunch of it, but this is so good. It's got that balance, once again, that I've talked about before of like sweetness and freshness, and also has enough sweetness to get that attention, those compliments, the performance as well, but it's not overdone to the point that it becomes something that you potentially write off as just like a one-trick pony, clubbing fragrance type of scent. Because yes, while it has that performance, it has that sweetness, you could still pull this off in a work situation or even a more formal situation. Maybe you don't go as heavy on the trigger, but this will work about anywhere. Just smells great. And then last but not least, Invictus Platinum from Paco Rabanne. Also could go Invictus Victory or Victory Elixir here. This has a similarity to Bad Boy Cobalt. So if you know how that smells, this is kind of in that vein. And this guy right here has kind of an interesting note breakdown. Absinthe is one of the main notes in the fragrance, off the top actually. And it gives it a green, uplifting feeling in there. Mint as well pops out of this. So very green, fresh, and has a bit of that Invictus-y sweetness to it. It's not too heavy with the bubble gum, but you still get that kind of synthetic sweetness that Invictus is known for. And when I say that, I'm not saying it in a negative way. It doesn't smell unappealing, doesn't smell bad or anything like that. It's just when you smell it, you're like, oh, okay. It doesn't smell like something you would, you know, find in a grocery store or something, unless it was in the candy aisle. But it also has a really pleasant aromatic edge to it, and that does give it a good quality feel. You know, it doesn't come across smelling cheap synthetic. It comes across smelling really nice. You also have a little woodiness in there as it settles down, but this is gonna be a very pleasant, modern fragrance with a good amount of sweetness that grabs attention. Better suited probably for spring and fall, maybe also summer. Just don't go as heavy during the summertime. Invictus Platinum, overlooked a little bit compared to Bad Boy Cobalt, but as good. So there we go. These right here, head turners for 2024. A lot of these are newer ones, but all of these are gonna get you attention, and all of these have good versatility as well. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there as always. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. Take it easy, guys. See you later.